Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, notes, sources, thick skin, check. You already know. Let's go. Welcome to Golden Blue today, everybody. This is a college football channel. So if you like college football, hit the like and subscribe button. It's that simple. Also, send gear to represent your team and be a part of my background forever. All you have to do is send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina 29657. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Golden Blue. Usually, I do not do videos this early. I don't like mornings, and mornings don't like me. I just finished dropping off my kids and my wife to work, making my rounds, and I heard some big-time breaking news coming out of Morgantown, West Virginia. It is official. Shayne Lyons has been fired as the athletic director at West Virginia. Gordon Gee offered him to stay on as vice president of operations. Shayne Lyons declined, so he has no connections with West Virginia anymore. This was a long time coming. Shayne Lyons has made some terrible decisions. The biggest one probably extending Neal Brown after the 2020 season. He extended him till 2026 with the raise and a huge buyout based on one season. It wasn't even that great of a season. Yes, it was an improvement off of 2019, but pretty much anything could have been an improvement over 2019, and that decision has cost him. I truly believe that one decision has cost him his job, and Shayne Lyons is out as the West Virginia athletic director. Who West Virginia hires to replace Shayne Lyons, I have no idea. I don't even know who's on their list as far as potential replacements for Shayne Lyons. I'll do some research and look into that and try to figure out some possible candidates to replace him. But the big news for today, and it is a fact. It is a fact. It's not just sources are telling me. It's a fact. And West Virginia is supposed to make an announcement about it here in a little while. West Virginia University probably will hold a press conference to announce that Shayne Lyons has been fired. And West Virginia fans are all for this. I think the thing that finally made Gordon Gee do this is boosters are starting to pull money as far as supporting West Virginia because no moves are being made to fix this football program. Shayne Lyons wouldn't fire Neal Brown, and we thought Shayne Lyons' job was safe as well. So we thought we were just stuck with Neal Brown. And I was hearing before the Oklahoma game that if he lost that game, then Neal Brown would be fired as the head coach. Of course, West Virginia went on to win that game 23-20. He benched JT Daniels, brought in Garrett Green, and Garrett Green saved West Virginia. He really did. West Virginia might be 3-7 if Neal Brown hadn't have benched JT Daniels and brought in Garrett Green. And I'm not throwing shade onto JT Daniels. The dude is a great quarterback. West Virginia was just not the right fit. West Virginia has not been kind to JT Daniels. And if he does transfer, I wouldn't blame him. And I would wish nothing but the best of luck to JT Daniels. In fact, I flat out feel bad for the guy. But the crazy thing in the press conference after the game for Neal Brown is he did not praise Garrett Green. He said that JT Daniels was making a couple bad throws. People got crossed up. The defense was kind of shutting him down. So out of desperation, he put in Garrett Green. He made some good plays, but he also made mistakes. He did not praise Garrett Green the way he should have. What he should have said was, man, Garrett Green came in and saved our rear ends, and he's definitely earned a consideration at the starting quarterback. But what we're hearing is that JT Daniels will be the starting quarterback in Kansas State, and he is a good quarterback, but Garrett Green proved his worth against Oklahoma. In fact, the West Virginia offense that we saw against Oklahoma looked like the offenses that Pat White operated. And yes, I made a video comparing, as far as the offenses go, Garrett Green's offense to Pat White. Now, Garrett Green is not Pat White. Not even close. But the offense that we saw resembled the offense that Pat White ran, and that might be the identity of West Virginia. That might be the offense that West Virginia has to run in order to have success on the offensive side of the ball. Even if you don't like that style of offense, too bad, so sad. If it equals wins, then run the stinking offense. Don't try to force an offense that doesn't fit our style. And hats off to JT Daniels for taking this with grace. He's a great quarterback. He has great maturity about him. I wish nothing but the best for him, whether he stays at West Virginia or transfers out of West Virginia. It's just that we've seen that the offense that works for West Virginia the best is an RPO spread offense, and that's the exact offense that we saw against Oklahoma, and it was the offense that won that football game for West Virginia. Had he not put in Garrett Green, I do not think that West Virginia would have won that football game. And a lot of people thought that maybe that saved Neal Brown's job, And maybe it has. Maybe it has. Maybe it has. But Shayne Lyons being fired, this is a bad sign for Neal Brown. It's not a bad sign for West Virginia fans because, to be honest with you, we're sick and tired of this mediocrity, well, below mediocrity, bad football under Neal Brown. We are sick of it. So if you're a Neal Brown fan, this is bad news for you. But if you're a Fire Neal Brown fan, then this is great news for you because Shayne Lyons was literally the only reason why Neal Brown still had a job. He is out, so there's no excuses. Maybe this is a game-by-game type of decision, and if he can win out and get us to a bowl, maybe that buys him another year. I don't know. But if he loses another game, he is out. I'm a firm believer on that. I know that 100%. If he loses one more game, he is out. If West Virginia misses a bowl, he is out. Shayne Lyons isn't there to kiss his rear end and say, it's okay, buddy. We'll give you as much time as possible to get this thing turned around. This is year 4. Year 4, and Neal Brown is 21 and 24. He should have turned this thing around. If he was going to turn it around, he's had the time to turn it around. It's not turned around. It's not going to be turned around, especially with a high-caliber quarterback, JT Daniels, coming in. Our offense looked fixed there through the first, 6 games of the year. And then Texas Tech, we looked bad. TCU didn't look great. Iowa State looked pathetic. Our offense, which was carrying us throughout the year, has dropped off a cliff as well. Garrett Green comes in, saves the day. Doesn't get the praise from Neal Brown that he deserved. That's a major red flag for me as far as Neal Brown goes. He's an analytics guy. He's very loyal to certain players. I don't understand it. Here's the problem at West Virginia right now. Neal Brown doesn't make the necessary decisions until things get really, really bad. Case in point, he didn't get a real offensive coordinator until it was apparent that our offense was just not getting better. It was not happening. It's not getting better. So he finally went out and got a good offensive coordinator. And yes, I do think Graham Harrell is a good offensive coordinator. I think a lot of these bad calls are Neal Brown overriding Graham Harrell. Some of these calls just don't make sense and don't fit the style that Graham Harrell calls. So yes, I do think Neal Brown has been overriding Graham Harrell on some of these calls. I know for a fact that he overrode Graham Harrell on that 4th and inches against Pitt that basically cost us that football game. He wanted to play the analytics game on that one, and it came back to bite him in the rear end. So he waits till everything looks doom and gloom. Then he finally makes a decision. Same thing with benching JT Daniels. It took JT looking absolutely horrible in those first couple of series against Oklahoma for him to finally substitute in Garrett Green and keep in Garrett Green. Same thing with the defense. The defense is falling off a cliff, and he still hasn't made a decision as far as getting rid of Jordan Leslie, or at least demoting him and trying to go out and get a halfway decent defensive coordinator. He waits till things get way too bad before he makes decisions. Well, it should cost him his job. I do think it will cost him his job. I don't think that West Virginia wins out. I don't think that Neal Brown survives this year. And I do think West Virginia will be looking for a new head coach after the 2022 college football season. This was the first sign. This was everything that everybody wanted as far as the guys that had fallen off the bandwagon of the Neal Brown era. And I will admit it, I was on that bandwagon. But I can tell you the exact moment that I jumped off. It was halftime against Texas. That was it. I was done. I jumped off the bandwagon. I finally saw the writing on the wall. And it looks like Gordon Gee finally smartened up and says, hey, Shayne Lyons, it looks like you're going to stick beside Neal Brown no matter what. So you got to go. So he's gone, and now all eyes are on Neal Brown. Number 1, will he last through the rest of this season? Number 2, if West Virginia does get to a bowl, does he get one more year? Number 3, if Neal Brown is fired, who does West Virginia go out and try to get to replace him? Well, I've done videos on who they should try to go get. I know Hugh Freeze was at the top, and I know Liberty just extended Hugh Freeze, so we'd have to eat the buyout of Neal Brown, and if we wait till the end of the year, that goes down to $13.5 million, and we'd probably have to owe a buyout for Hugh Freeze, and we'd have to pay Hugh Freeze. I know that's a lot of money, but it's time for us to put our big boy pants on and start spending money. So there's Hugh Freeze, Tom Herman, Matt Rule, try to get Lance Leipold out of Kansas over to Morgantown. There's some great potential candidates to replace Neal Brown. I'm sorry, Neal Brown was just not the guy. I wish him nothing but the best. He can go back to a Group of 5 conference team and have a lot of success, make a lot of money, live a good life. I don't have any ill will towards him. He just wasn't the right fit at West Virginia. And step number 1, as far as showing Neal Brown the door at West Virginia, has happened. Shayne Lyons has been fired. Keep it here. I'll keep you up to date. And if Neal Brown does get fired, I will definitely let you know. You will see a big old smile on my face. So y'all let me know in the comments section, what do you think about this firing of Shayne Lyons at West Virginia? And where do you think West Virginia goes from here? Do you think Neal Brown's job is safe if he wins out and gets West Virginia to a bowl? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.